is the Maruti Suzuki Jimny that I've been using in city traffic across wide open highways. I have taken it off-road and I've had 4 people in it with our luggage for a long trip. Basically, I have covered all the scenarios wherein you may use this car. So if you are thinking of buying the Jimny, then you should stick around because we have also tested it for its real world mileage and the figures that we got are quite interesting. Right, so here are some CarWale facts that you must know about the Jimny, and I'll begin with things that we are not fans of. First of all, it's the proportions. Now don't get me wrong, this 4-door version looks nice and well proportionate, but I have to say that the Jimny's design can be a little deceiving because it's got all the hardcore 4x4 design elements. But at the same time, this 4-door Jimny is actually a lot smaller than the 3-door Thar. In fact, it's nowhere as tall and wide as the competition, and you may be surprised by how compact the Jimny really is when you check it out in person after seeing it in pictures and videos. The Jimny's cabin has an old school look and feel to it. After all, it's a proper 4x4 and not a regular crossover in the 12 to 18 lakh price range. The focus here is on toughness rather than modern looks or even particularly good ergonomics. It's a spacious cabin for 4 adults, but not the most practical if you are someone who values cup holders or door pockets. Thankfully, all the commonly used controls are within easy reach and they are quite chunky. Yes, there are hard plastics everywhere, but everything in general feels quite solid, so that's forgivable. The Jimny is a lot of fun off-road and I will get to that in a bit. Right now I am driving it on wide open highways and honestly it pains me to say that this is not a good long distance car. The engine feels adequate once you are up to a certain speed, but there isn't a lot of power in reserve when you want to merge into fast moving traffic or overtake a long vehicle. Also, the steering is wayward and it doesn't inspire enough confidence for you to keep cruising at say 100 or 120 kilometers per hour. Keep it at around 80 and I think that's your sweet spot because at that speed the road noise is bearable and the Jimny feels very much in control. So let me tell you, the Jimny with the manual gearbox is a lot of work. I mean, the steering is heavy, the clutch is heavy, and the gear shift action is surprisingly vague for a Maruti. So basically, it will require a lot of commitment from your end if you plan to use this car every day in traffic for your commute, because the heaviness in all the controls will eventually wear you out. Now, let's move on to all the things that we love about the Jimny. The Jimny has a lot of road presence, but it's not in the most conventional sense. It is categorically a small vehicle with narrow tires, moderately high ride height, and a driving position that's not exactly commanding. So, if you're looking for a 4x4 to tower above other cars in traffic, then the Jimny is not the car for you. But none of that matters if you want everyone to know what you have bought, because the Jimny gets all the attention everywhere it goes. Now, besides the unique form factor, I think it's this bright kinetic yellow color on our test car, which is simply impossible to miss. The Jimny is surprisingly good when it comes to mileage. In our city fuel efficiency test, we got 13.21 km per litre thanks to a very effective engine start-stop feature. On the highway, the Jimny returned 15.29 km per litre, which isn't bad at all, given that it's as aerodynamic as a brick. The Jimny gets a 1.5 litre 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine that makes around 100 horsepower and 135 Newton meters of torque. Now that may not sound like much, and that's because it isn't. But you have to bear in mind that the Jimny weighs exactly 1220 kilos and that's hardly anything for a ladder frame 4x4. So this engine is adequate when you're driving it in city traffic. You can put it in third gear as soon as you have taken off, and this engine will pull the Jimny cleanly without any form of juddering. It's a very tractable engine with a good amount of low end torque, and that's something that I really like about it. Now it may look tough and off-road ready, but the good news is that the Jimny is extremely user-friendly in some ways. For starters, getting in and out of this cabin is an easy affair because the step into the cabin isn't high, and once you're in here, you will appreciate the visibility. The glass area is huge and it's really easy to see out of. Also, the front windscreen is quite upright, so you never really get any sort of reflection from the dashboard under direct sunlight. Finally, I think the Jimny will be mainly used as a four-seater, but the good thing here is that even with all the seats up, the boot space, which is rated at 220 liters, is quite good. The Jimny is hugely capable when you take it off the road, even with highway terrain tires. It will sail through narrow trails, scramble down steep descents with ease, and drive over fairly big boulders without scraping its underside. Of course, there is a way to get the best out of the Jimny, and that is to keep the engine revs and your momentum quite high because you don't have a lot of torque to begin with. And once you get the hang of it, then I genuinely believe that you can take this car pretty much anywhere. So that's a quick off-road take on the new Jimny. Now, if you want to know more about the Jimny's off-road performance, then you can check out Vikran's review by clicking somewhere over here. And if you want to check out our review of the Jimny's main rival, the Mahindra Thar, then you can click on the box below.